Hey guys, so in the last video we pulled some images for Slick.js carousel. We set up Slick.js, Slick.css, Slick-themes.css, Reely.css, and we did some other stuff too, I believe. But in this video, we are going to move past that. We are going to go into the actual Slick.js carousel. So the thing about Slick, the same thing about most things, is that when I need to do something, I just remember what to Google as opposed to remembering what to do, uh, because there's just so much that you have to remember. What I find to be useful is I go to the docs and I know that I need to, for instance, I just want to set up a simple carousel. So in this case, I don't know. I want one with autoplay, so I can search for autoplay with Command F or Control F. I'm on Windows. All right. Okay. So then we've got this little JavaScript code here. This is where you got to know a little bit of custom. You got to know a little bit of jQuery. I mean, really, it's just a little bit of jQuery. It's not bad. Okay. Document.ready, right? That's like the first thing I learned. I'm sure that's, if you know anything about jQuery, you know document.ready, right? And then we're going to paste that in there. And it's not even super necessary, right? Because HubSpot's going to pull all these JavaScript files, compile them into one file, and put them at the bottom of your template when it renders on the user end, if I am not mistaken. And I hope I'm not, because that's what it should do, right? Maybe. Okay, so we're going to actually make this probably a small. Okay, so now I'm going to get a little trickier with this, and I am going to go into the inspect element. I did wrong. I don't know why I'm trying to use a Mac on a Windows. I don't use Mac. I never used Mac, and I'm over here trying to hit Alt or Option. Okay. So I just want to look at the structure of this, right? And you can see this stuff is flashing, and a lot of this stuff is plugged in by the JavaScript, right? Like this Slick track. So really what it comes down to is, I believe, we need a slider. I don't know, autoplay. So where's the autoplay? Right there. Yeah. So this is being slicked, as you can see. And it's injecting like the buttons for the previous next. Those are being injected. Uh, this div with this aria live polite slick track, and this is actually the track. It's very long, as you can see, and it changes a lot. But that's the track that the slick slides are running on. And these are the slick slides, and I'm pretty sure that we just need to give them a class of slide, but they don't have a class of slide. So here's what we want to do. Let's just go to usage right here. So your class, and then the divs inside it. So they don't need a class at all. We just need to give it a class and let them roll. They just probably plug those in through the JavaScript, honestly. All right, so this is good. I think my one beef with Slick is that I think it uses floats instead of flexbox, and I don't know, it feels a little dirty, I guess. I don't. Um, I was using it in a project where I needed to use Slick, but I needed it to be flexbox, and I don't know. It was difficult, but we're not doing that today. So Slick is actually a really awesome tool for creating sliders anywhere, but definitely in HubSpot when it's set up correctly. Which, if you didn't set it up correctly, go back and watch my last video where we set it up correctly. So we're going to give this a class of slider, and I'm going to do this as well. I'm going to give this a padding of TB60, so you get 60 on the top and bottom, and then give this a class of SS slider. Why SS? Because I've got this this scoping class here. So anytime I have another, I guess you can call it like an inner scoping class, but anytime I have a unique class that I'm applying to an element inside of a module scoping container, I just take the first letter of each word and put it at the front. And typically I don't ever run into any kind of interference with other modules. When I do that, I just also kind of remember the naming convention. That is also why I added Slick to this name, so that there were two words, so that I had that kind of just succinct I don't know. It just feels good. It feels right, and that's why I do it. And that's that. You should probably do it too. I would say. Okay. So we're gonna add these images in here. I'm gonna hard code these in just for now because I don't want to get into fields. But what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna grab one for now, and I'll show you a cool little trick. So this one's good. We'll copy the URL there. Still don't have to know anything about the name because I just clicked to copy the name of the URL. And then we're going to repeat this. So what we want to do is do a for loop for, let's do item in range of, what are you going to do, 6? I think we have 4 images, but whatever number, it doesn't matter. And 4. Okay, so let's preview this real quick. This is still set to a class that doesn't exist. But let's just, I'm just going to comment that out. It'll throw an error in the console probably. Can't find an autoplay. But either way. Preview. See the image 6 times. You can also see that there's 60 padding above and below because of that class. The background is blue, dark blue because of the BG2. All of the text should be readable. Again, this version, I don't know. We'll have to see. I really should go through and actually clean it up when I'm offering it publicly, but time. All right, so let's move this down a little bit so that I can show you this. Why are you hiding from me? What happens if I close it though? Oh, you know what? It's probably this download bar. Yes. Okay, so that's the image. No, it's still hiding. I just want to show you. Whatever. Let's click on it. So boom. Okay, so that's your page center. Small, as you can see. It's got a little bit of padding, a little bit of margin, a lot of margin, a little bit of padding. It's contained very smallly, smallerized. There's the large is larger, the medium's mediumer, the small is that size. You can change those very easily in the CSS file that I just closed. I didn't close it. By Command F, page underscore center. There you go. And then as you can see, they all have their different. So these are media queries that go to the large. That's a different. I don't know what that is, but that's still, it's just a max width. So if you wanted a 1400 max width, but your large was something different, you could just use large dash spec, or you could delete that. Either way, it's fine. Again, medium, small, and these are all editable numbers. So you just throw in what works for you. And what I like to do when I start a project is I actually go through and measure the different sections in a design, and I look for the different size containers, and then I plug those in, and then I count for the margin and padding, obviously. And then whenever I'm setting up my modules, they just automatically are the size they need to be. So it's pretty useful. So definitely play with that. Okay, so on this end, we've got our a set of images, six images here, and we have a mess here. I'm going to publish that because I deleted that little thing there. Then we've got this general flex template. Let's close that for now. I actually don't want that in there, but I'll use this template eventually. So I'm going to close that. That's boilerplate. We don't need to edit that. Well, there is one thing that we actually forgot. Sorry, here, let's go. Oh, I see what I did. That's fine. We've got a Slick Images folder. Okay, so check this out. If you still have your Slick files here, there is a loader GIF. It can go in the images folder. Okay. And then I have to remember, I need to find this. I'm pretty sure it's in the JavaScript file. Let's just search GIF. No. Why would it be in the JavaScript file? Let's search the GIF here. No. We're going to get an error about this. I should find it. Fig. Nice. Oh, it's right there. Okay. So did I copy the URL? It took me so long to find it. That's it. Boom. All right. No more worrying about getting errors. So there was a fourth step, a step added with the GIF, the loader there. But again, as long as you get the loader GIF, the Slick fonts, the Slick.css files, and the Slick.js file all plugged in. Good to go. Okay, back to, I got all this stuff cleaned up, and then we need to close Slick.js and Slick theme, Slick.css. Why? I don't know why you need to be saved, but I'm going to save you anyways. Hopefully I didn't break something there. Now we just have our module, and then if I close this cheat sheet and this prefix generator, don't need those because I already built the framework for them. Let's leave the documentation open. Don't need that. Shouldn't need that. Let's leave that open. Design previewer is fine. That's actually, we're working in that. And then what is this? Oh yeah, don't need that. Design manager, previewer, file manager. Good. All right, man. Things get messy. You got to clean it up to stay focused. All right, so we've got 6 images here. They're not the images that we're going to be using at the end of this, but it is a good placeholder. I just used this for loop with the range, for item in range of 6. Change that number, you get changes the number of images. So if I say 2, don't even have to publish because it's a previewer. I'm going to close this. As you can see, there's just 2 images. I can say 10, and there's going to be 10 images, but I think you get it. Boom. All right, so we're going to uncomment that, and then we're going to go ahead and change the class to the name of our slider, SS slider. There you go. Let's see what we have here. We have slides to show 3, so there's going to be 10 slides total. It's going to show 3. It's going to scroll one at a time, so we should get one moving to the left or the right. So we should see, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, and then the auto play speed is 200 milliseconds, which 2000 milliseconds, which is 2 seconds, right? Yeah, that's 2 seconds. I don't know. Okay, it's all right. We got this. What happened? Oh, okay. Well, we need to repeat the div. Yeah, the div needs to be repeated. The div is what is being slicked. We could slick the div inside of SS slider, and it would slick the image element, but that's not what we're going for. I find it's best to contain it, because what if you want to add text? What if you want to add whatever? What if whatever? You have a container. You can't do that on just an image element. So yeah, it's better just to slick a div with the image inside of it. You could also apply the image as a background to the div. I don't. Boom. All right, so now we have the slick slide, and I guess because it's an image, it's doing some funky stuff. It's probably a padding issue. We can go into our inspector there. I'm hitting Control-Shift-I if you don't know how to get there, and what that does is that brings up the JavaScript console that is giving me a bunch of errors, or warnings, I should say, about things being deprecated from a new version that's coming out. But you also have this Elements tab here that is the entire HTML body of this whole thing. So in this situation, if you actually looked at that, let me see if I can. Yeah. So inside the preview panel, you actually have this preview response div. And as you can see, it's lighting up on the page. Inside the preview container, we'll still go down, and then you get an iframe. And inside the iframe, oh, no, I lost it. Where'd it go? Oh, wow. Look, you get this hashtag document, and I'm not even sure how that works. Somebody explain it to me. But inside this, you get your HTML file. You see, now you have your HTML, and this is where you get a body. So this stuff doesn't this isn't part of the module. This is actually what they're using to display the module to you in this preview. It doesn't go into your templates. But then you have all these scripts. We're getting close. It's in here. I don't think it's in a script. I don't know why it would be. Okay, yeah. So it's in this div. Oh, so okay. So then we have this HS underscore COS underscore wrapper underscore module with the module ID that's a unique ID to my portal, I believe. I don't think it's unique globally to like all users, but it might be because it's very long. I'm not sure how they, if it's like a CDN that holds the modules we create in our portals. Which, you know what, it might be though, because if you think about it, the marketplace, I'd like to know. I really would. So, anyways, inside of that wrapper, that div container, then we have our actual code that is in the design manager right here. It starts out with this div class slick slider. And what do we have here? We have this div class slick slider. And then we can go down and we have all of this stuff. So we can actually find, okay, so as you can see, I wanted to show you this. This is what I was aiming for here. Slick.js, like I said, just like when we were looking at an example over here in the documentation, what's in this file is just this div and then 10 of these divs containing an image apiece, right? I did not highlight that to show the example very well, but you understand. Okay, so we have 10 divs holding an image apiece, and over here there's 3 divs being shown, but there's 10 divs total. They're just being slicked. And then over here, what we get is the preview or the slick buttons. So as you can see, this highlights. There's the previous button. This is actually the list. So inside the list, we can see the slick track, and inside the track, you're going to get all of your slides, and then you get all of the plugins. I mean, it's really crazy what Slick does. I mean, this is super powerful. The way it, like, look at that. Like, look at it moving. It's beautiful, really. Ken Wheeler, you got to check this out. This is really good. But all of that work is done for you. Now, the only thing is, if you're looking, you can see there's a bit of an issue, and I'm not entirely sure what that is. So let's find that out. So we can actually use the inspector to try to work this out. Nothing's highlighting. Well, we can do it this way. So the button's there. I'm not seeing it. It looks equal space. It looks like the right button isn't moved over enough for whatever reason. And I wonder why, because it's top 50 and then it's transformed to be 50% up of itself so that it's equal, right? And then it's got a right of negative 25. So and then this would be the relative parent, right? Yes, position relative. So it's not right of 25 of its parent, of negative 25 of its parent. Now, why is it not? It says to be. What if we put an important tag here? No? All right, so what if we doubled it? We're getting closer. I don't understand exactly why it's like that. Oh, now we're going down. But for brevity's sake, I'm sure we can find a good solution here. But let's just say that for now, in this situation, for me specifically, as you can see, I was able to go over to the CSS panel. I have the right element selected over here in the elements panel, so I get to see all the CSS that's applied to it. I was able to see that it is right negative 25, and I just changed it to right negative 70. The important tag, probably not necessary. Let's find out by deleting it. Not necessary. Okay, so just a right of 70. I also know that is in the slick-themes.min.css file. Hubspot minifies your CSS files for you, so that's where the .min comes from. It's actually just in the slick-themes.css file. So we can select this. We can go to slick.themes.css, Control F, paste that in, hit next, right? Yeah, it's gonna be the next one. No, it's one of these. Here we go, right there. Scroll down a little bit. We were just looking because it's by itself. Every other instance it's stacked with the other one, so this is a unique property, it being right aligned the way it needs to be. So I'm gonna just change that to 70. I don't know It's better to not change the framework. It's better to but this is really just like a theme file anyways, but it's better to probably override it in a custom CSS file, or really figure out probably what's going wrong to make it do that in the first place. But for all we know, it's an oversight on the provider's fault. I don't know. It's just, this works, so let's use it. So it's really as simple as that. Now we've got this slider. Let's say that, for instance, we want to dress it up a little bit. So I want to give this a class of P, TB. If I could remember how to type TB 20. No, let's just do 20. 20 all around. Don't even publish. What did we do? What did that do? It gave the padding. Oh. Okay, so this is where a little custom CSS comes in. So in the ss-slider, ooh, caps, no good. ss-slider div image. Give me a break. There. We are going to give this a width, max width of 100%. Boom. All right. See? Aha. Okay, it danced for me a little bit there, but there we go. Okay, so what was going on, and it didn't fix. Okay, I was thinking maybe the width of the image was causing the problem, but it wasn't. So it still looks okay. So what was happening is just that the image is quite large, and the space containing it was quite small, and there were no rules to keep it contained inside that space, so it was just overflowing. So it didn't matter how much padding or margin I put on that div, it was never going to contain the image. I needed to make the image 100% width of its container at max. So that's what it's at right now, and as you can see, it looks pretty cool. I mean, you got the space and stuff. We are 22 minutes. Okay, so in the next video, I am actually going to make these images editable, and we'll do some other stuff if we have time. So see you then.